Hello guys, welcome back to the channel, the Manga Man here, and today we're talking about Black Clover chapter 287. For those that already know or have seen my previous video, One Piece came out earlier on today, and before work I basically reviewed it, gave my thoughts, released it. During the day I noticed towards the back end of my work shift that the translation for this had come out, so I had to wait till the finish of my shift, and here I am making this video for your consideration. As always, please support the official release. All timestamps and links will be in the description below, and let's get into this review. So, the chapter was interesting. There were only a few main elements to really consider, so this video probably is not going to be that long, unless I start yattering on and getting all philosophical and theoretical. But we'll go through the emotions or essentially the order of things with this chapter and give my thoughts as we go along. I will refer to the chapter itself, especially for names, and because for some reason Nacht likes how these long-winded names for techniques. So the way the chapter basically starts is kind of like where he's got the, where his piñata open is essentially being spiked and made into a flag or a pincushion, and he's contemplating things about knowing his limits and going beyond his limits. At that point we see a flashback of the funeral, I guess, and you see that basically Yami's at that point not captain, and he says, I'm going to become a captain, would it not be funny if I did, and please be my vice captain to make it funnier, because they were friends before this whole Morgan thing, and this is kind of what spurs him on a little bit, because at that point he thinks to himself, I'm gonna continue not to get credit for all this stuff, I'll continue to do things in the shadow, and that's his atonement. Not necessarily doing good things and being known for doing good things. He's not doing these things to become popular or famous or anything like that. His atonement is to do it from the shadows, and he says fight evil with evil, which kind of flares him up to then show his next form and go beyond his limits. Now, he has a technique that I found quite interesting, because what this ultimately does, it sets up things in the future. Now, you need to consider that one of the demons was basically with Asta, so the most he could have potentially done is a combination of 3 demons till Asta arrived, but he combines 2 of the demons for a brief moment to essentially, and don't get me wrong, that form looks crazy cool. It kind of looks like a demon, I would say a demon phoenix is kind of where I'm going with it, and it's essentially a combination of Gallus mode and Felis mode, and he calls it Gallus X Felis, so it has the combination of both techniques. Now, he does use it for a brief moment to approach the higher demon levels, but it's important to consider that he does say that all his demons are mid-range at best, so all the demons that he's got, the scale that they're at, basically ultimate magic form, look I should say, will Volt crash the hell out of them and basically deal with them. So him approaching the realm of high level demon with this combination ultimately means he's got room to grow. Now, these high level demons, we've got to bear in mind, the second point is these are the weakest of the 7 or so levels of the tree of Kilforth, or so you can imagine how strong Lucifer is going to be, or Lucifero is going to be when he arrives. So the fact that this has kind of been shown at this stage of how powerful they are is a concerning matter. And anyway, going back to the topic, we get this combined form. They notice that he's combined his form, and then he lets out a technique, and I want to read this out. Of course, this could be different depending on translation, and it's basically the shadow magic rain of atonement, and this is what's going to trap them in that space forever, and they can play tag forever. Now, the whole time he's contemplating death, and but he wants to take these people down before he can die, so he's not ready to die just yet. And you see him break out of that space, and then right as he does that, they join him, and he's like, absolute fire, absolute ice. They are basically too strong, and they've been toying with him the whole time. And that's the third point, the realization that this whole time, even with him approaching high level demon magic level, they were playing with him. And it makes sense, they were toying with the food till they were overcome by Saki and the wantingness and the lust to kill and dismember their victim. And literally when that's about to happen, we get this statement that says, no human will be able to kill a high level demon. If there is one, it will be the anti-magic one. And just as he's thinking that, just as it's getting bold and spread it out, who rocks up to chop off the demons? I think it's the female demon's arm, Lilith's arm, but Asta himself in his Unite form, and basically he says something along the lines of, how dare you touch our vice captain, what do you think you're doing to our vice captain? And then the chapter ends. So ultimately there's a lot of spread and there's a lot of kind of coverage of a few events that happen in this chapter, but it's meaningful because if you think about it, we have a flashback, we go through his internal dialogue and his internal monologue. He basically psychs himself up, he's not ready to die. He shows a new form, which shows he's got room to improve. It shows that it's not ready just yet because they're toying with him, and Asta comes to save the day, being the hero that he is, the protagonist, right? So what does this mean? It means he's got room to grow, Nacht has, and there'll probably come a time where he will use all four. Will he be able to deal with high level demons at that point? Possibly, but nowhere near Lucifero. The second thing, being that these two are high level demons but are weaker than Lucifero, depending on how Asta deals with them, bearing in mind he's only got a short period of time that he can deal with them because he's not, I think he's got 5 minutes and he hasn't quite, figured out how to extend that just yet. Depending in that 5 minutes, how long he's got left, and B, how long it takes to beat him, will give us an idea of how he will scale as more gates open. That being said, there's an exciting end to the chapter. As always, the shonen protagonist arrives just at the nick of time, which means that should possibly survive unless something crazy happens in the next couple of chapters, which I hope not. But as always, thank you for getting this far. Like, comment, share and subscribe. Check out all the links below, and definitely follow me on Twitter if you are on Twitter, as I will post all links on there as and when I do an upload on YouTube. Till next time, peace.